Om Shanti. In the Murli today, Baba says that this birth is your extremely valuable, rare one. And it cannot be that for everyone. The drama is predestined in this way. Those who studied in the previous cycle are studying now. So it is beautiful that we got selected, and it is fortunate that we are always selected and we are kind of pre-selected. So Baba says this is your extremely valuable birth, the rarest birth. Do you feel that this is the best time in the whole Kalpa, 5,000 years? How many of you feel that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Others don't feel like that. Yes? Why don't we feel like that? Let's take the example that I took in the meditation. Is it wrong to be the lotus in the dirty pond? Should the lotus also become dirty like the pond? Yes? Do you think that the lotus, it is wrong to be the lotus in the dirty pond? So the pond is dirty because that's the nature of the pond, and then the lotus is the lotus. Yes, so the lotus is beautiful and it is anchored in its beauty. It's staying, it's upholding that beauty in the pond, and it's making the pond also beautiful. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being the fortunate one, being the one with Baba's treasures at our disposal, and then experiencing the best state of bliss and happiness right now? And then in doing so, we are also making the world a happier place. Yes, because whoever we are, whatever we are radiating that to the world around us also. So Baba says, don't get confused in these things. So everybody is playing a part. And let me tell you, the most beautiful thing about this is, there is a part and there is a choice. There is a destiny and there is karma. So Baba uses the word destiny. Baba uses the word part. But the flip side of that is karma and choice. Yes, so everybody is making choices too. Yes, so we are reaping the fruit of the destiny, but that destiny also entails a choice. Yes, so I will tell you one thing. So when I came onto this path some years back, then there were very many people who thought I made the wrong choice. And they gave their opinion also that you should be enjoying life and you should be. So I said, no, I am enjoying life. Just the way I'm enjoying it is a little different from how you are enjoying it. But I am definitely enjoying life. But whatever they thought, but then they told me that this is not the way. You should, give up on your clothes and your food and other stuff, and Do not simplify your life so much, and then why so much of discipline and why so much of surrender. Use your resources for yourself, and all these things were being told. And I made the choice that made sense to me, or that was destined for me, however you put it. It's one and the same thing. So destiny is propelling you to make the choices, and the choices you make are creating your destiny. So it's going both ways. And one of them, yesterday, they were talking to me and they said, you made a very good choice some years back, and you see, you are so stable and so anchored, and now you are even a source of power to others, and that those tables have turned. So Baba says that, and Baba says that you are very fortunate, but then you are doing what other people seldom choose to do also. So your choice and your destiny, these choices dictated by your destiny, are making you very fortunate. And Baba says that you are very fortunate, and this is your most fortunate birth and time when you are enjoying the fruits of being in Baba's company and taking from God Himself, the ocean, and also being of service to Him, being an instrument for Him. So now do you feel that this is the best age that you're living in? This is the best of all times that you've ever lived. So always have this intoxication. This is the best time when you don't need anything and you're filled with supersensuous joy. You might have felt happy, but that happiness in the past has only made you addicted to it. Yes, but now when you're happy, this happiness is free. This happiness is something that you command. This peace that you enjoy today is coming from Baba. There is no addiction about it. You don't have to run after it. It's available to you. It's very different from what we had earlier. So this is something that Baba says, that this is your extremely valuable birth, and think about it. Yes, because we do not have the capacity to see the good these days. Yes, so that sanskar is lost, that capacity is somewhere lost. And when Baba comes, understanding the blessing of having Baba and being in the confluence age is a privilege of a wise soul. So just think about these matters that Baba speaks in the Murli. Now, in the essence today, Baba says, sweet children, the directions of both Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba are very well known. Follow the directions of both and benefit yourself. Now, you see, Shiv Baba's directions are called Shrimat Bhagwanuvach. So, the supreme directions that God Himself spoke. And Gita is called Shrimat Bhagwanuvach. So Baba says there is a lot of regard, and not only in India but all over the world, there is a lot of regard for the Gita. And Baba says Gita is about the supreme directions of God Himself. And Baba says that it is very well known and celebrated that God comes and gives directions, supreme directions, which make you very elevated. But then people have forgotten that God is not a human being, and it is not Sri Krishna who gave those directions, because Sri Krishna is a bodily being. It is God who is bodiless, who is a point of light. He came into Brahma Baba's body, descended, and he gave these directions. And these are the directions that make us elevated. And we are listening to those directions right now. So Baba says God's directions are very celebrated. They are very famous for converting you into a deity. And it is said that God taught us how to become the King of Kings, Raj Yoga. Okay, so who is the King of Kings? That is the deities. Because even the kings in the Copper Age onwards will bow down to those deities. So Baba says, God's directions made you the King of Kings has always been celebrated. And these are the directions that you are receiving right now directly from God. And Baba says then that Brahma Baba's directions are also very well known. Because, when I was little, then my mother would sometimes say that even if Brahma came from heaven, he wouldn't be able to convince you. So, Brahma bhi uttar aaye to tumhara kuch nahi ho sakta. So, this is the way parents talk. Why? Because Brahma Baba's directions are also very famous. So they say Brahma bhi uttar aaye to nahi samajhoge. So that is the way in which Brahma Baba's directions are celebrated. And Baba says that here you are receiving directions from both. The Murli is the mind of Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba both. Because it is not just Shiv Baba who is speaking in the Murli, but Brahma Baba is also adding his experience and knowledge in the Murli. So Shiv Baba descended into the body of Brahma Baba, and then both these souls started having a conversation, and that conversation is the Murli. And Baba says this Murli is the directions of both these supreme entities, Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba. So Baba says now you have to follow these directions, because this is the mat, or this is the direction that is going to make us very, very elevated, make us the King of Kings. And Baba says, you just follow it and take benefit. And today Baba says something very interesting also. Baba says that you have to follow his directions. There is no need for you to give the Father your own directions. So Baba says that you listen to me and try to understand what I am telling you. Don't try to apply your logic in it, because with your logic you have only failed. Yes, you have only failed with your logic. Look at the world and look at the state of the world and look at the state of your life. Now, why don't you stop giving directions? Why don't you start taking directions? So sometimes I feel, that the biggest aspect of ego is we don't take directions anymore. So we think that I know better. But if you look at the state of your life and the world, you will know that you don't know better. That's why it is like this. So Baba says, now just have a little humility and understand that when God speaks and teaches, you do as he says. You don't neck your brain in that. So Baba says, you don't give me your directions. You don't tell me this looks impossible, this looks difficult, this looks illogical. No. You just do as I say. And I will read out the whole paragraph to you so that it makes more sense. Baba says, you children understand that Shrimat has been remembered. Shrimat is the versions of God. Shrimat means the versions of God, the versions of Shri, the highest one. In the Gita, they have mentioned Krishna's name, whereas it is really Shiv Baba's. After him, there is Brahma and then Krishna, because Brahma Baba learns directly from Shiv Baba and then he becomes the full embodiment of whatever Baba is teaching, which is Shri Krishna. So Baba says first is Shiv Baba who gives the directions, then next is Brahma Baba who totally imbibes it, and third is Shri Krishna who becomes the full embodiment of Baba's directions. So Baba says Shrimat is not said to be from Krishna. Our Father is the most elevated of all. Neither Radhe nor Krishna can be called the purifier. They are human beings with divine virtues. So Baba says they are not the purifier. So there are certain names, there are certain titles like the purifier or the remover of sorrow or the liberator, and these titles are only conferred to Baba. Baba says Shri Krishna doesn't perform the act of coming into Kali and turning it into Satyug by purifying everyone. So Baba says, in the golden age, you wouldn't say purifier come. Human beings cannot be called the purifier. Only the one Father purifies the impure. And it is his Shrimat that you follow. The directions of Prajapita Brahma are also very well known. Shrimat too is very well known. However, they have made a mistake by putting Krishna's name there instead of the Father's name. That is why people do not understand that this Murli is God's versions, because they are still searching for Shri Krishna to come and speak, yes, give Bhagwanuvach or recite the Gita. So Baba says that is the mistake. So they put the name of the corporeal one, and then people are not able to see the work of the incorporeal. So Baba says, Baba says, the father of those of all religions is just one. Not everyone believes in Krishna. Christians believe in Christ, not Krishna, to be their father, because Christians are the mouth-born progeny of Christ. Shiv Baba comes and makes you belong to him. So Baba says, God is universal. God is someone who is accepted by all religions. And Shri Krishna is not accepted by all religions. Only when you talk about God as a point of light, then every religion accepts it. And Baba says, I come for everyone. I cannot take the form of Shri Krishna just to please Hindus, because God comes for everyone. He doesn't come for one person or one religion. Baba says that Shiv Baba comes and makes you belong to you. Shiv Baba is very well known. Whatever directions he gives and whatever he does is right. He even gives directions to Brahma, do this. Your connection is with Shiv Baba. And today Baba gives two specific directions. What are those? Don't look at the defects of others. Follow Shrimat. Okay? So these are the two specific directions that Baba is giving today. don't look at the defects of others and follow Shrimat. Now we will understand these two things. So do you look at the defects of others? Yes? Do you do that? How many of you look at the defects of others? You don't look at the defects of others. Everybody does that. Yes? So when somebody is not doing something which is right according to you, then what you do is you just keep your mind and your buddhi fixed there. And then your buddhi keeps replaying the video of whatever wrong they did or said. And then your mind keeps experiencing that again and again. Now, is it a wise act to do that? Now, when you are looking at somebody's defect, then you are spoiling your own peace and happiness, and nothing more, nothing less. Because even if you keep playing that tape over and over again, they are not going to change because you are playing that tape over and over again. Yes, they will continue to be like that if they want for another 20 years. And then what do? You just become a mental patient looking at their defects. So, Baba says, this is Shrimat. Don't look at other people's defects. Very big Shrimat this is. Yes, so just don't do that. Then what do? What do? Look at the good things that are there in them. Yes, so maybe you see you have someone and then they are very bad cooks. They don't cook well. Yes, and whenever they enter the kitchen, it's very difficult to see them work in the kitchen. But then they might be good at something. Yes, maybe they are good at just talking. And when they talk, they are able to calm you down. As simple as that, yes? And then you understand that if you get rid of this person, yes, although you can't, but then if you magically got rid of this person, then you will not have a bad cook, so you will have to cook for yourself, that's okay. But then you will not have a good talker also. So it will be minus something, it will not be plus something. Yes, so somebody is always adding their goodness to your life. So they're bringing something with them, some quality. And even if they have something bad, some bad quality, some defect, so you can just take charge and do the needful there. Yes, you can fill in that gap. And when you fill in that gap, then you will be left with the only positives that they have brought. And that makes you stronger as a team. Yes, and everybody brings something with them. There is no soul who doesn't have any quality. So they're bringing something with them, and it will make your team stronger. Whether it's the team of a family, whether it's the team of an organization, wherever you are, it is making the team stronger. But if you just fill the gap of their defect, and if you will become stronger with them. But if you just focused on that defect, then what will happen is you will focus on that and you will not appreciate their good qualities. You will not boost their morale and they will get worse and worse every day. And the second thing is you will not be able to experience the strength of the virtues or the qualities they've brought. So when you see somebody's defect, fill in that gap. That's what you do. So if somebody is not able to do something very well, then just fill in that gap there. Now, let's say somebody is very rude. That's a defect. It's not about what they do. It's about their nature. So they have a defect in the sanskar. So when somebody is rude or somebody says the wrong thing at the wrong time. So, the timing is very off. So they just smile where they had to feel where they had to give a sad expression. So some people are very bad at these things. So what do you do there? So they have a sanskar which is coming from spiritual weakness. So what is a bad sanskar? It comes from spiritual weakness. So how do you fill in there? So you have to fill in, that's your job. So how do you fill in? You give them good wishes and good vibrations. That will strengthen the soul. And when the soul is strengthened, then the sanskars become better. Yes, so whenever you see someone with a defect, understand that nobody is perfect, but then still they are an asset. Yes, and then with that hope, you just see where the defects are and fill in that gap. Whether it's a spiritual gap, whether it's a gap of speciality, whether it's a gap of virtue. Yes, so don't focus on that, because what you focus on will grow. And you don't want them to become more defected tomorrow and become a burden. Understand this. This is very important. If they have one defect and you don't like it and it is becoming heavy for you, if you focus on that defect will grow and that person will still be with you and you will be even more burdened tomorrow. So choose wisely. Do you want to focus on the defect and make it grow and then want to endure that? Or do you want to focus on the goodness, fill in the defect and make them better tomorrow? Because they are staying with you, they are your karmic account. Yes, so this is something you have to understand. Now there is a question, how about Lord Ram? Is he the embodiment too? Yes. So we are learning from Baba right now, and in Satyug we will become the 16 celestial degrees full, the representative of which is Shri Krishna. And then in Treta Yuga, we become 14 celestial degrees full, which is represented by Shri Ram. So we are filling from Baba, and the embodiment of Baba's virtues and qualities and powers is our perfect form, which is Shri Krishna and then Shri Ram. Okay, so that is how it goes. Now, Baba has given us one Shrimat, which is do not look at other people's defects. The second thing Baba says is follow Shrimat. Now, what is Shrimat is a very big question. So, the short answer of it is everything you hear in the Murli is Shrimat. So, everything that you hear in the Murli is Shrimat. Okay? Now, in order to follow Shrimat, first you have to know Shrimat. Okay? You have to know Shrimat. So that's why you are always asked, implored, directed to read the Murli. Yes, and I always tell you, don't skip the Murli. Why? Because that is Shrimat. If you don't know what God is saying, how do you do it? Okay? So this is first thing. So knowing the Shrimat is the first thing. So that is also Shrimat. That is also what Baba says in the Murli. Don't miss the Murli. So this is also Shrimat. Then what else is Shrimat? So everything in the Murli is Shrimat. Now today I will talk about two things which basically underpin the whole Murli. So they are like the foundation. So the two Shrimat is purity and remembrance. When Baba came, Baba said, Yogi bano, pavitra bano. So become a yogi and become pure. This is Shrimat. Okay, so this is first Shrimat. Become pure and become a yogi. So there is Shrimat for the body, for every organ of the body. Don't indulge in impurity. Okay. And then there is Shrimat for the buddhi and the mind, which is connect to Baba. So whenever you are going about the day, then there are two things. You are using your body, and there is the mind and buddhi that is operating. Now Baba says, keep the man and buddhi anchored with Baba. Right now, when I am speaking to you, I am connected with Baba and speaking to you. If I am connected to you, then what you do will disturb me. Okay? So Baba says, you do for the one in front of you, but remember Baba while doing that, so that your state of mind and your condition of the buddhi is colored by Baba's presence. And you are full of Baba's virtues and powers while doing everything. And then Baba says, this is the state in which you have to do everything. And then the act is also important. Do not perform acts of impurity. So if you are using your eyes, your ears, or your body in a lustful or, under the effect of anger or greed or attachment, then Baba says this connection won't be possible. So Baba says, do not use your body and your sense organs under the influence of these 5 vices: lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed. So that's very important. And this is why celibacy is important. Because when people engage in lustful behavior, then the soul becomes depleted in spiritual power. Because lustful behavior increases body consciousness. Lust is an act of deep body consciousness. So Baba says, whenever you are under the influence of vices, then your spiritual power gets reduced and you cannot connect with me. So Baba doesn't forbid us from staying in the world or doing our job or taking care of children or anything. But Baba says the Shrimat is mainly about these 2 things. Do everything with purity and remember me while doing it. Remember me means let your mind and buddhi be colored by my virtues. So let's understand this much of Shrimat today and try to incorporate this today, that don't look at other people's defects and just focus on purity and remembrance through this day. Okay, and Baba says, this is God's Shrimat and it's going to make you a deity, so you better follow it. Okay, Om Shanti. Now there are 2 questions. Let me take that up. Didi, which 2 qualities reduce in Treta Yuga? That is from 16 Kala to 14 Kala. 16 to 14, how do we come down? Now let's understand. Kala doesn't mean there are 16 qualities. Kala means degree of perfection. Like you say, 16 celestial degrees moon, which is full moon. And then the degrees reduce. So it is 14 celestial degrees. So Baba says, similarly, every quality will be there, but the intensity will decrease a little. Yes, because time erodes the soul. So there is an influence of time, and then slowly birth after birth after birth, spiritual power is reducing. Energy in motion depletes itself, is the law. So, an energy gets expended in the process of taking birth after birth. And so that results in a little erosion of spiritual power, which is reflected in saying that we become 14 celestial degrees full. Then there is another question. Can you please give some brief introduction on how to do the Amrit Vela meditation and for how long to start with? See, how long to start with? You will have to start and try. Yes, so so everybody has to, start, try, and then find out what is the best time that works for them in the beginning, okay? And then slowly gradually you increase that. Now, how to do the Amrit Vela meditation? So first thing is, as soon as the alarm rings, you jump from the bed. You get up from the bed. Don't put it on snooze. So just jump from the bed, and preferably you wash your face and brush your teeth. That helps. So when you brush your teeth also, there is the influence of sleep is a little less. So you do this much, and then you find a place where you can sit every day for your Amrit Vela meditation. And if you want to play a commentary, you can play a commentary. There are many commentaries available on YouTube. Even the commentaries I play before the class are there on YouTube. So you can select a commentary if you like. If you are comfortable without a commentary, then you can just play plain music. But in the beginning, I think a commentary is helpful. So what you do is, you choose a good commentary, keep it chosen beforehand. So the night before, you choose a commentary, keep that link in your phone, and in the early morning when you sit, you play that commentary and move your thoughts with that commentary. Okay, so just like the meditation you do in the class, you just move your thoughts, your awareness with the words of the commentary and try to create an experience. And then just like after the commentary finishes in the class, we start the class immediately because there's not much time. But what you can do is, you can listen to that 10-15 minute commentary and move your mind with that and create a state, and then try to maintain that state for another 10-20 minutes. Okay, or 5 minutes, or whatever you can do. Okay, and then if you want to stay awake, then what you can do is, if you are done with meditation and you're not able to focus anymore, then what you do is, you can also take up that day's Murli and read a little. Okay, or the previous day's Murli. So that will also give you certain food for thought. And then you can take some point in the Murli and start reflecting on it. That's also a good way to continue. But first, don't start with the Murli. First, start with the commentary, relish the whole experience, at least for 20-25 minutes for a beginner. Okay, and then if you don't want to if you want to follow Shrimat and stay awake until 4:45 at least, then what you do is, you can add the Murli in it. All right. So, okay, Om Shanti.